The financial civilization itself is also undergoing mutation and development, especially in the past years, where the world's finance has been changing and unpredictable against the backdrop of the lingering capital. Financial civilization is increasingly showing its power. First of all, financial civilization gradually transcends industrial civilization, and its laws are completely different from the law of value of industrial civilization. When financial civilization knocks at the door, many people familiar with the laws of traditional industrial civilization are realize later and use the wrong rules of industrial civilization to calculate the result, missed out on the benefits bestowed by financial civilization. LTCM, a hedge fund company managed by Nobel laureates who are proficient in the most complex risk products and models, fell on the eve of financial civilization, and billion arbitrage funds were wiped out. When the British Chancellor of the Exchequer was about to rise in the price of gold, he mistakenly estimated the situation and left more than half of Britain's gold reserve at the lowest point in years, which caused the British government to lose at least £1 billion, leading the Parliament to ask him to settle accounts in the autumn. Secondly, financial civilization has high requirements for the quality of other civilizations grafted onto it. If they can match each other, it will have a significant amplification effect on the achievements of other civilizations. Otherwise, reverse results will occur. Former British Prime Minister Thatcher keenly seized the key to the financial explosion and implemented a major transformation of the securities market, creating a new City of London and ushering in a new era of British finance. On the contrary, the Japanese version of the financial explosion backfired, not only failing to unleash vitality in Japanese finance, but also plunging it into numerous crises. The root cause is a lack of understanding of the special laws of financial civilization. Currently, a new wave of financial civilization is quietly hitting the Asian coast. But the panic of the financial crisis, these old experiences have deeply rooted in people's hearts, making people from all walks of life afraid of what is about to happen. Southeast Asian countries that have experienced the financial crisis are typical representatives, and they have strong vigilance against the current global liquidity surplus and asset price rise. Many countries have already started deploying in late and early such as Vietnam, the Philippines, Thailand, India, etc., which have strengthened financial regulations in advance, in order to mitigate the risk of capital flight. Thailand even resorted to government intervention, which was counterproductive, while opposition to free currency floating suddenly, and is accustomed to using the laws of industrial civilization and information civilization to explain, study and judge financial problems. The development of the securities market according to geometric series conforms to the laws of financial civilization, but meets the logic of industrial civilization regulation and intervention according to the development of arithmetic progression, the so-called P/E ratio. Securitization rate and valuation model in the inherent knowledge system have been repeatedly denied by the market. but they are still regarded as the
事无苏
prin. Being conservative towards traditional knowledge and unable to understand the arrival of a new civilization may result in schizophrenia. Integrating and responding to the four civilizations in a timely manner will lead to a winner-take-all in the market. Interests of people be respected, rather than being a broad concept. The difficulty of transforming this concept lies in encountering the resistance of traditional ideology and the covert boycott of vested interest groups. Another prerequisite is the upgrade of the governance concept, that is, the upgrade of the version of making decisions for the people, which is undertaken by everyone, upgrading from limited liability to a limited and bounded management model that leads social rules and maintains their fair execution. Previously, the direct participation of the state in the operation of the economy inevitably led to self-interest, resulting in impure motives for the state. However, when the state is above economic interests and only serves as the creator and maintainer of the system, the transformation of its role creates a natural demand for the principles of fairness and justice. The controversial labor contract law, to some extent, is a manifestation of the shift in national motivation from favoring enterprises to providing universal coverage for the interests of workers. It is a transition from a focus on efficiency first to a balance between fairness. Despite its poor timing, it is still a landmark milestone, because the more a few people resist, the more they can reflect that it actually represents the interests of the majority and touches the pain points of interest groups. At present, it is the Ministry of Power that undermines the principles of fairness and justice, distorts the state's motives seriously, and causes even greater public discontent. The phenomenon of door-oriented, departmental interest-oriented, and interest group-oriented. Many authorities use the name of the state to harm the people and enrich the private sector, and practice monopoly under the guise of maintaining fairness and justice. This distorts the essence and core of the national political system, which means that the state represents the interests of the entire society and the nation, and implements its representation through various state machines. However, in reality, various state machines become representatives of the state and fulfill the interests of their own departments in the process of representation. This deviation is the source of social contradictions at this stage. The real reason for the large-scale mass incident in Wengan County, Guangzhou, is that the government has repeatedly violated the interests of the masses in mineral resources development, resettlement, building demolition and other work, and in the process of handling conflicts, disputes and mass incidents. Some cadres have a rough style, simple working methods and random use of police force. Although the stock market was in a mess in the first half of the year, there were still over yuan billion in stamp duty receipts, and local state-owned asset management commissions are still preparing to queue up local state-owned enterprises. The usefulness of commodities to human beings proposes utility value. and reveals various needs in human nature. Bentham's utilitarianism, marginal schools, utility theory, Dewey's pragmatism. Due to significant differences in understanding industrial civilization, it has been in constant conflict since its inception, until the Cold War in the second half of the 20th century. Industrial civilization has gone through hundreds of years, and its laws have been effective in 100 years. Marx's Das Kapital, Marshall's Economics, and Keynes' general theory of employment, interest and money are classics, and indeed guide the socio-economic operation. In the mid to late 20th century, with the popularization of computers and the Internet, information civilization entered human society. The characteristic of information civilization is that the spread of social induction and information transmission is very fast, greatly changing the original production and lifestyle. For example, computers have changed traditional manufacturing technology and production processes, and the Internet has changed people's consumption and communication methods. Toffler once provided a phenomenal description of information civilization but did not touch upon the fundamental principles. The general equivalent of information civilization is information. Wherever there are many concepts, money flows there and wealth is generated. The new economy that originated in the US is a concentrated manifestation of information civilization, with NASDAQ being a representative of information civilization, and a large number of digital heroes becoming beneficiaries of information civilization. It has only been 30 years since the emergence of information civilization, during which there have been countless changes. Moreover, the philosophical foundation of information civilization is the principle of uncertainty, which makes it difficult to summarize unchanging laws. Therefore, in recent decades, it has been difficult to come up with grand works that have taken decades. From the above civilization process, it can be seen that the evolution of civilization is accelerating, from thousands, hundreds of years to decades year. Nowadays, there are many phenomena in the social economy that are different from the forms of civilization in the past, and various phenomena cannot be explained by past knowledge. The financial industry is playing an increasingly important role in some countries, surpassing the functions of any single industry. For example, the amount of tax paid by the high earners in the City of London has accounted for a quarter of the income of the whole UK, and a quarter of the UK corporate tax also comes from this region, which is generally the case for Wall Street in the United States. Once China's securities industry was launched, it developed with the thunderous momentum. In just over a decade, the stock market value increased, business opportunities are experienced, just as the Chinese people are complacent about the national policy of family planning, which has resulted in 400 million fewer births in China. The aging population has advanced by 23%. 10 years will come. At the end of 2006, the population of elderly people aged 60 and above in China reached 149 million. Experts predict that it will reach 325 million by 2030, accounting for 21.9% of the total population. The typical 4+2+1, where a young couple has two support for elderly people and one child family structure. Structural shortage of labor force and insufficient social security income are the numerous challenges brought about by aging, which force structural adjustments at all levels of society. And the most crucial one is the transformation of thinking mode under the transition of old and new. The older generation thinks with the left brain. The left brain belongs to logic, rationality, utilitarianism, personal experience, analysis and calculation. The brain processes information in a time-dependent, sequential, and either-or directed manner. Therefore, the left brain almost represents the rule, institutionalization, standardization and mass production, which is just in line with the rules of the industrial age, bringing about the efficiency of collectivism, and also making focusing on big things and pragmatism the most typical way of thinking of the left brain. From the rule of holding chopsticks in the right hand, the arrangement of multiple choice questions on machine reading cards, to the efficiency of Fordism and the scientific worship of industrial civilization. The products under left brain thinking almost control the past. And in that year generation, left brain control has its inevitability. Firstly, in the early stages of industrialization, the market's ability to allocate resources was weak, and it could only rely on administrative means to concentrate efforts on major tasks to achieve national street rateages. Secondly, the accumulation of primitive capital relies on careful calculation, rationality rather than sensibility, science rather than intuition, and the consolidation of the foundation of the real economy through standardized production based on efficiency rather than the construction of a utopia. Therefore, industrial civilization itself is a civilization dominated by the left brain, and rationality and science are the two of them great magic weapon. But now the situation has made the premise of the era of left brain control gradually fade. Firstly, see computerization. Miniaturization is a false proposition, and its arrogance violates the great taboo in the horse racing. Who would use their own bad horses to confront the rise of developed countries? The core of the national financial strategy is to take a distinctive differentiated path, give full play to the asymmetric advantage of resources, and avoid path dependence to turn air supremacy into self-destructive power. The characteristic of the theory of financial original sin is to deconstruct the new economic civilization based on the qualitative analysis of the times, and to address the confusion in the state of order, conduct holographic full-dimensional research on various variables, attempting to find regular factors and provide new analytical coordinates for solving complex situations. In view of this, the Fokker think tank believes that finance is a comprehensive manifestation of conspiracy theory that directed the currency war is easy to control readers in thinking and satisfy their curiosity about mysteries. However, the success of commercial operation cannot hide the defect of its logical derivation. That is, it regards finance as the core of national strategy, and regards national strategy and enterprise strategy as the main contradiction of financial problems. It believes that this is the bullnose that governs financial and capital movements. The weight of conspiracy is gradually increased under this logical derivation. Conspiracy is characterized by suddenness, uncertainty, and unknowability. As a result, it is either a hammer or an anvil. Therefore, as long as the financial air supremacy is mastered, you can play with other governments and banks at will and plunder their wealth, thus integrating finance and conspiracy, elevating to an unparalleled and supreme position gives the impression that countries are subject to others without engaging in finance. While engaging in finance is like plotting, this is a false proposition, and its arrogance violates the great taboo in the Chonji horse rachi. NG, who would use their own bad horses to confront the rise of developed countries. The core of the national financial strategy is to take a distinctive differentiated path, give full play to the asymmetric advantage of resources, and avoid path dependence to turn air supremacy into self-destructive power. The characteristic of the theory of financial original sin is to deconstruct the new economic civilization based on the qualitative analysis of the times and to address the confusion in the state of order, conduct holographic full-dimensional research on various variables, attempting to find regular factors and provide new analytical coordinates for solving complex situations. In view of this, the Fokker think tank believes that finance is a comprehensive manifestation of competition among countries, and at least politics, culture, technology, national security, international relations, etc. are also affecting the operation of finance, and there are not many conspiracies involved. With the increasing efforts of various countries to rescue the market, the dilemma of deleveraging while also amplifying liquidity has emerged. For example, major countries have allocated trillions of dollars in emergency aid each year, which seems to have increased unabated and may lead to untreated old wounds and new diseases. And with the continuous evaporation of currency, the original sin of finance has been playing a role. This book is an excerpt from Foucault analysis published since, as a specialized service for government departments and enterprises. The internal research report provides decision-making support focusing on objective, neutral, and empirical analysis, interpretation, and trend analysis. Therefore, the articles are all based on economic reality as the research starting point. Although they are independent, the